We're here today at beautiful Arundel for today's Kia Super League game. We're about halfway through the group stages now, and there is a clear front runner that's already emerged to be the 2019 champions. Sid, who is that?
Well, the Western Storm are way out in front. They've got about 50 squillion points, I believe. They've got nearly twice as many points as anybody else. They've won all their games. They've rolled a steamroller. It's not a combine harvester anymore. It's just a steamroller, and it's gone over everybody.
Okay, and then behind them we've got three teams who are roughly neck and neck, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the Vipers and the Stars and the Lightning. Have all got a couple of wins on the board. The Vipers are slightly in the driving seat in terms of, the big thing this season is going to be the race for third place. And as Surrey Stars proved last year, you only need to come third in the league section and you're in with a chance of winning it. So everyone will be looking to grab that third place, and that's where the real race is going to be. And we've got a match here today, Raf, that really is about that, about trying to cement a spot in the table, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got today Southern Vipers against Surrey Stars, which should have played out originally on Monday at the Oval, but was rained off. So this is the rematch, Mark II, and we're hoping it's going to be a bit more successful. Who's your money on today, Sid? Because these are two sides that really seem fairly evenly matched so far.
Yeah, I think that both sides have had good starts to the season. Both sides will be reasonably pleased with where they are. I think the Vipers probably just have the edge. I think that the Surrey Stars have got a really good side. They've got some big stars, but if their stars don't quite fire, I think the Vipers have got a little bit of a longer batting lineup, and I think the Vipers are going to be able to come through today.
Okay, and we saw the Vipers v the first place Storm the other day, didn't we, at the Aegeus Bowl, and Storm won that game. What do you think it was that made Storm kind of so successful and has been so successful this season, do you think?
Well, they've just got a very long batting lineup, haven't they? That every time you get a wicket, there's somebody else coming in, and actually it's been a bit different to last season, because last season Smriti dominated everything. She hasn't been quite so dominant this season, but other people have just stepped up. Right down to people like Sophie Luff that are not huge international stars, but have really shown their quality this season. So I think that Storm's long batting lineup is really what's put them in the driving seat.
Yeah, and it will definitely serve them well, because the thing that they struggled with come finals day last year was that they didn't have Smriti, and a lot of the others further down the batting lineup just hadn't really got any time in the middle. So I think that they're really well placed.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that part of the reason that Vipers could do well as well is that they also have a fairly long batting lineup, and I think that Vipers have got some really quality players down the order. When you've got people like Paige Schofield and Carla Rudd coming in, Carla Rudd's been coming in at 10, and Carly Rudd is a perfectly accomplished batsman. It really gives a lot of freedom to the side, and it means that I think the big difference between the Vipers obviously had a disaster last year, but the big difference between the Vipers this year is that they've been getting there in those close games. They tied a game the other day that they would almost certainly have lost last year, and it's about having those players come in that down the order that have that real quality to them.
I think this new look Vipers seems to be a successful kind of change, because as you pointed out in the preview, they have made quite a lot of changes to their squad this season, and we stood here at Arundel where a year ago they kind of reached their lowest ebb in the Kia Super League, didn't they? They were bowled out for 91, I think it was, by Western Storm, and then Storm kind of raced home to the total with 9 wickets to spare, and we weren't actually here, but we understand that there were some ructions in the Vipers camp that day, and that lots of kind of sort of a little bit of squabbling going on maybe, and lots of very unhappy people, because Vipers were used to success after being so dominant in the first 2 years of the competition, but since that they have come back this season, and they look to be more the team that we saw in the first 2 years. What do you think it is that they've changed, Sid?
Well, they've got a much younger team, but what's interesting is that their young players are, really serious quality players. If you look at the other sides, sorry, I've got some young players and some players that are less heralded, but they're players where you look at them and you feel, if this girl plays really well and it puts in all the work that she ever can, she might play for England. Whereas Vipers have got players like Lauren Bell and like Maya Boucher, who almost certainly will play for England. If neither of them play for England, it will be because something's gone wrong. So Vipers have got some real quality, even though they've got those young stars. So I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, and I guess comparing that to Surrey, perhaps their batting is more reliant on a couple of big stars, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with Surrey, you feel that it's almost like it's Lizelle Lee and it's Nat Siver, and once they're gone, it becomes more of a struggle. And we did see that a bit the other day
Against Lightning at Guildford, didn't we? And Lightning actually won that game. They having bowled the Stars out for 120. They bowled them out. Anyway, they restricted them to 120, and so that was quite an interesting performance, wasn't it? Because on form, you would have backed the Stars to win that game, but they didn't.
Yeah, their batsmen just couldn't quite get the impetus going. I mean, Maddie Villiers came in at the end and was hitting at a run a ball, but she's still not quite in a position where she's going to be, hitting the 30 off 15 balls or the 20 off 10 balls that you really want with someone coming in at the end there. And that's the kind of thing that, for instance, you might see Paige Schofield doing for the Vipers, which I think is the difference between those two teams.
Okay, so we think that Vipers will probably win today, but hopefully it'll be a really good game of cricket. I guess the one other question mark is over Sarah Taylor, isn't it? Because we did see that she pulled out at Guildford at the last minute. We understand that she was due to play, and then there was some kind of injury that meant that she couldn't. So if we hear any news on that front, then we'll bring it to you. But yeah, let's look forward to what will hopefully be a really good game of cricket today.